Hey everybody, this is Scott with GuitarAndBass.com. Thanks for checking out this video. What I want to talk about today is playing guitar at home. A lot of us are home aloners, if you will. That's where we practice our craft, enjoy our instrument, maybe occasionally get out and play with friends. But I would venture to say that a lot of us play at home. We're not gigging every weekend or in a professional band playing. Obviously there are people doing that, but the majority of us, we do other things, but we love the instrument and we play at home. So I wanted to give you some ways of playing, or some things to do when you're at home, an approach to at-home playing, so that you don't feel like you're getting stuck, maybe kind of not making progress. If that's how the guitar is, where you just kind of pick it up for enjoyment, that's fine too. But if you're kind of like, I wanna go somewhere with my instrument, I'm gonna give you some assignments, all right, and some approaches to thinking about your guitar playing at home. So the first thing, like anything, you really just need to think about what your ultimate goal is. And what I mean by that is, what would you really like to play? Do you think you want to be a blues guitar player? Maybe you want to play acoustic fingerstyle. Maybe you like to sing, and that's what you like to do. Accompany yourself while you're singing. Maybe make your guitar accompaniments a little bit more interesting. So if you haven't thought that through, if you're kind of just playing a lot of different things, give that some thought. And you can do the other things too, but kind of imagine the guitar player that you want to be, because that's going to help you to choose the daily practice goals that you have. So kind of do some thinking about that. And then the next thing, if you kind of get that sorted out, the other thing is developing practice habits, a practice schedule, something that is routine, something that's going to be part of what you do during the week. Now, I think when we hear like practice schedule or routine, sometimes a red flag goes off, like, I don't want to kill this thing. I have so many routines and obligations. I want this just to be fun. Well, that's fine too. And if that's where you're at, keep it there. Just pick the guitar up when you want to. But I'm kind of talking about, you like that, but you want to progress on your instrument. And the way to do that is to set up a practice schedule and routine. So my advice to you is take some time and think about your typical week. A typical week. One that, there's no big like flare-ups, crisis or extra work, but your typical week, and think about where the time in your week is your discretionary time. The time where you're doing things for yourself, not duties or obligations, work. And then what you're gonna need to do is steal some of that from other activities and put it into your practicing. For example, like, let's say you like to kind of watch TV or social media at night when you're winding down. Maybe cut a little bit of that and either practice or just go to bed a little bit earlier so that you can wake up a little earlier for practice. So again, just think about your weekly schedule and find some spots. It doesn't have to be much at first for what we're talking about. Like, maybe start with 2 or 3 times during the week and set your goal kind of small, maybe 15 minutes. Because if you set a small goal and stick to it, that's really motivating. If you set a big goal, something that's you hope to achieve but not realistic, that's really frustrating, and kind of it's that failure feeling kind of makes you not want to do it. So say for instance you decide you're going to wake up maybe 2 days a week a little bit early, not too early, get your coffee or whatever, and do your 15-minute practice. Well, mark it on your calendar, make a schedule, and hold yourself accountable to it. Just build like that. And once that routine gets going, that'll be the engine that will enable you to then move forward on your guitar. You see, if you just kind of play it when you want, that's okay. But a lot of times you're just playing what you already know. That's good. There's a place for that. But I'm talking about like, yeah, I do that, but I wanna move forward. That's gonna require a little bit of extra work. So set up a practice schedule. Keep it simple at first, and set 50-minute minimum. Now, if you can go, if you're doing 50 minutes, you want to go to 20, fine, but make the minimum kind of small at first, and then you'll be able to achieve it. Set your practice goal. So then the next thing, since you're at home learning, you're going to have to. You've got this longer term goal. Let's say you want to become a better blues guitarist. Well, then you're going to have to select your curriculum, your materials. You're going to have to gather what you're going to use during your practice time that's going to get you to the goal. That could be like online tutorials. You could, on the non-practice time, kind of do a little research, find some tutorials that are going to be good for you. Maybe it's a like online course that's something someone else has put together. Maybe it's a subscription to a website or something like that. So gather your materials. It could even be traditional, like a traditional book that works you through beginning blues, intermediate blues. So whatever it is, but you want to have your materials and have those ready so that when you get to the practice time, you're ready to dig in and get down to business. Okay, so you got, let's say for hypothetical, blues guitar. That's where you want to head. You've gathered you got a couple tutorials that you've bookmarked, and then you want to set some short-term goals. Something like, okay, it could be like, oh, I'm going to learn the song on this tutorial, and that's going to be my first short-term goal. Maybe it's going to be a week, maybe it's going to be 2. Kind of set what you think the time limit should be, and write it down. I think it's really good to write it down. Say, okay, my first goal is to learn this tutorial, blah 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 blah, whatever it is. And then, when you get to your practice time, that's what you work on, right? You can play other things, but you're focused on achieving that goal, all right? Once you achieve it, then you want to document your progress. This is so key, so key. You want to have markers of your progress so that you can look back and be like, oh yeah, I am making progress. Look at that. So the best way to document your progress, I think, is to record yourself. On your tablet, your smartphone. So let's say you've learned maybe a new blues scale, or a new scale I should say, or a new blues progression, or a new blues riff, or a song, a blues song. Well, once you've learned it, then record yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your goal here is just to document your progress. All right, make a recording of it. Name the file, whatever, keep it. All right. Checked off that goal. Then pick your next short-term goal. Maybe another blues song, maybe another blues riff, whatever. You get what I'm talking about. And you're just then working towards those short-term goals, recording them, and then moving on. All right. So, and this is during our focused practice time, right? The time that we're dedicating to getting better, to learning new things. And your other just free time playing, then those are the things that you could pull out and just play for fun. But again, we're talking about we want to move the ball forward, so to speak. All right, so you got short-term goals. You're checking them off. You're recording them, and then this is really key. Stay motivated. All right, so one of the ways I stay motivated, and I think this is something that you should do, is I like to just watch tutorials, or watch live concerts, or watch gear shows, watch a vintage guitar show, showing vintage guitars. But I just watch. In that mode, I'm just enjoying being in that world of guitars. I'm not really in practice mode, but it's kind of jazzing me up for maybe tomorrow morning's my practice time. I'm just watching, enjoying, just letting my momentary interest take me to whatever. Maybe it's a style of music I'm not even going to play, but check it out. Maybe a jazz piece, and my goal is blues, but hey, so that really inspires you, gives you some fuel for your own learning in progress. I think that's really key, just to spend some time, instead of maybe, surfing other things, surf these guitar things, but in a way that isn't, it's not an assignment, it's just, you're just, hey, checking stuff out. All right, really will serve you well to be the fuel for the practice. And then lastly, and then we'll wrap it up, if you haven't done this, this is really something that you want to move towards, and that is creating some type of home recording studio. And when I say studio, I don't mean like, spending a lot of money on a studio. Studio in the sense that you have some basic equipment that you can record yourself. Right? And with the technology today, for a little bit of money, you would need some kind of adapter to take your analog guitar and turn it into digital. That's called a digital audio interface. They're relatively inexpensive. And then you can plug that thing into your smartphone or your laptop, get some free recording software, and just start laying down some of your music and ideas. And that is really exciting. And that can be practiced, you know what I mean? You've learned, let's say you've learned your blues song, then you record it. All right, so that sort of will circle back to documenting your progress, but in a more sophisticated way, where you can actually lay down tracks, add effects to them, maybe put drum machine with it, all kinds of things like that. So those are some things that I would encourage you to do, and give you some homework assignments to maybe think about those things. Let's summarize. So, big picture, end goal. What, at this point in time, what kind of guitarist do you want to be? What do you want to work towards? What genre? What, that can change. You can adjust that, but you need that for your practicing. So, end goal, big picture. Make sure you've got a practice schedule. Keep it simple, but stick to it. So get your curriculum. Find the things that you're going to use during your practice time ahead of time, and stick to those. Set the short-term goal of, this week I'm going to learn this tutorial and master it, or maybe you need 2 weeks, whatever. Record your progress. Right? Stay motivated and plugged in with watching and just being immersed in guitar land, so to speak. And then ultimately, when you can, create your recording studio so that you can incorporate that into your practice. And then that can also be, when you have extra free time, you just want to go into your recording studio and lay down some tracks. All right. Okay, good luck with your homework, and I will see you next time.